The man, in order to find out how many leg hairs he has, arrived at the haunted hospital carrying 3 grenades. The old man who was a ghost trembled all over when he heard this question. Because if he answers incorrectly, the other party will cut off his head. He could never have imagined that he, who instilled fear in countless people, would become a lamb to be slaughtered in the hands of the man. It turns out that the bizarre world suddenly descended 3 years ago. People were constantly being forcibly pulled into a game world called the Inferno. People must complete various terrifying quests and live stream them globally. Successful individuals receive rewards that continuously make them stronger, while failures have their HP permanently deducted until they die. Top psychologist Evan Zhao was also pulled into the game. He immediately caught everyone's attention when he appeared, because his spiritual power unexpectedly reached 101%. The current top player on the leaderboard, the Emperor of Dragons and Archdemon, is only at 100. Unfortunately, he was randomly teleported to the Giant Elephant Hospital, which has the highest death rate. As soon as he entered the hospital, unknown chaotic codes appeared in the data source. Evan Zhao, who fainted in the operating room, slowly regained consciousness. He got up from the dilapidated iron bed and stretched his muscles. A flicker of deep, barely noticeable crimson light flashed in his eyes. Shortly after, Evan Zhao received some unstable data. The neutral wall cannot be climbed over or destroyed. The neutral door requires an access card, with unknown shadows posing a danger. These data from an unknown source reveal important information. And to get the access card, escaping from the hospital seems to be the ultimate goal. After Evan Zhao confirmed that there was no danger around, he pushed open the door and walked out. The outside lights flickered. The walls were covered with decayed mold. At the entrance of room 409, he heard some movement. He looked through the crack in the door and found an old man lying inside, dying. After the old man saw Evan Zhao approaching, he spoke up and begged, "I need to go to the bathroom. Could you help me sit up, young man?" Evan Zhao did not immediately respond. He carefully examined the old man. Those unstable data emerged again. Gramps Liu is highly dangerous. Unable to move, slow speed, it's a trapping fiend type. Strong combat attributes. But it cannot move and has a narrow attack range. It even has a fatal weakness. Evan Zhao's brain works quickly. Then he takes step by step towards the old man. While the old man on the sickbed has a trace of resentment and coldness in his eyes. There was a lot of discussion in the live broadcast room at this time, mocking that this new player is a tard. But they soon realized something was wrong. Because Evan Zhao not only stopped moving, he also turned around and circled behind the old man. The next second, a sharp surgical knife was pressed against his forehead. Gramps Liu asked him in panic what he was going to do. Evan Zhao looked at him calmly and said, "I will ask you a question. If you answer correctly, I will take you to the restroom. If you answer incorrectly, I will cut off your dog's head." He looked at the surgical knife close at hand. He could only agree helplessly. Because of the setup, he couldn't turn around at all. At this moment, the fearsome also turned into a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Evan Zhao then coldly asked, "How many leg hairs do I have?" The audience was filled with question marks in the barrage upon hearing this sentence. Evan Zhao slowly stabbed when he saw no response from the other party. Gramps Liu, on the other hand, kept begging in terror, "Please don't kill me. Ask me another question." Evan Zhao nodded after a moment of silence and agreed. "Okay, where are the access cards for the hospital?" The old man breathed a sigh of relief and quickly replied, "There are 3 access cards. One is with the hospital director, one is at the administrative services, and one more." Before he could finish his sentence, a sharp blade suddenly cut across his neck. Evan Zhao chuckled playfully. "Sorry for tricking you. I don't actually have that many questions." Ding! Your soul-bound weapon has successfully unlocked Ghost's resentment by touching it. Surgical knife can deal additional damage to Ghost. You have slain Gramps Liu and gained a slight enhancement. At this time, A file bag on the table next to him caught his attention. Just as he picked up the file bag, the system prompt sounded, triggering side quest Gramps Lu's last wish. The old man's body sat up immediately after that. Young man, thank you for setting me free. The document bag in your hand contains a property title. That was my only savings during my lifetime. My daughter Snow Lu wants to have it. She had an affair with the director of the giant elephant hospital in private. They conspired to murder me. But later on, she died due to an unexpected elevator accident. And that was the end of the matter. I beg you to help me kill the director. In exchange, this property title will belong to you. The moment his voice fell, the system sound rang out once again. You have obtained the item, property title, of Gramps Lu Quality Green. At the sight of this scene, the audience in the live stream room boiled with excitement. Damn awesome. This new player actually triggered the side quest of Giant Elephant Hospital. Gramps Lu actually couldn't move. But how did he know? Who said just now that this new player is cerebral palsy? Please stand up. Just as everyone was talking about it, a person with a special frame spoke in the live broadcast room. Although it was a bit of a fluke, his performance was indeed impressive. Mentality, judgment, and reaction are all possible. I'm not trying to flatter him. Is Tao Yang, the vice president of the Alliance Guild, in need of people? Look at me, look at me. I am already level 12. Tao Yang responded that they are not in need of people. He just came to see how the new players are doing this year. Then he watched Evan Zhao's every move and started to analyze. Moments ago, Gramps Lu subtly told Evan Zhao that his daughter died in the elevator shaft, meaning the hospital's elevator cannot be used. In the current situation, Evan Zhao's best response would be to take the stairs to search for the access card. There is a high likelihood of lingering resentment in the elevator, which is very dangerous. Just as I analyzed that, he suddenly froze on the spot. Because Evan Zhao was actually holding the property title. He headed straight for the elevator. Evan Zhao stared at the elevator for a long time. In the end, he chose to press the button. Then a prompt appeared. The elevator is of a low danger level. Inside, there is a restless ghost whose power and resistance have been significantly reduced. However, it still has 5 times the stamina of a human. You cannot fight it barehanded. After seeing the prompt, Evan Zhao smiled. Most likely, the one who died inside is Gramps Lu's daughter. Are her power and resistance severely reduced? Okay. Upon thinking of this, he strode into the elevator in long strides. The audience outside the live studio became nervous as well. It is often said that an elevator is like a moving coffin. In such a dangerous world, entering an elevator is truly unwise. As the elevator descended, the lights began to flicker unnaturally. Evan Zhao kept on scrutinizing his surroundings. Suddenly, a drop of viscous liquid fell on his forehead. Immediately, an arm was placed on his shoulder. Evan Zhao turned his head to look. A blurry face appeared in front of him. But Evan Zhao surprisingly remained calm and composed, contrary to expectations. Even there was a hint of excitement in his expression. You must be Gramps Lu's daughter. Restless Ghost looked at the man in front of him without any fear at all. Snow Lu herself was confused. Realizing this, she asked, I am Snow Lu. Are you here to help me seek revenge? No. Your father has a special gift to give you. He left something specifically for you. It seems to be a property title, and he instructed me to personally deliver it to you. Snow Lu was somewhat incredulous when he heard this. My father left the property title to me. In the end, he actually left it to me. Evan Zhao saw that the other party took the bait and continued to inquire. Why don't you tell me about your situation? Didn't you die in an accident? Why seek revenge? Upon hearing this, the aura around Snow Lu began to fluctuate drastically. Everyone thought it was an accident. It's not an accident. The Dean murdered me. He pushed me off the rooftop, she said, abruptly approaching Evan Zhao. You helped me kill him. Bring back his head. I will give you a handsome reward. After hearing, Evan Zhao's mouth lifted a smile. No system reminder about the side quest also means that the female ghost is deceiving itself. There's probably no reward this time. However, it doesn't matter. With his thoughts here, he scratched his head as if he hadn't noticed. He asked if the dean had any weaknesses. Snowlu continued to answer that he is the strongest ghost here, but can also be said to be the weakest. Unlike other ghosts, he doesn't know he's dead. If you can make him realize he's dead, his fixation will disappear, and his power will disappear along with it. After female ghost finished speaking, Evan Zhao handed the property title and the sphere below to female ghost. I understand. The property title is for you. I'll go figure out a way to help you seek revenge. Snowlu did not doubt. He took what Evan Zhao handed to him without a second thought. Meanwhile, Evan Zhao hummed a tune and quickly left the place. He kept fiddling with the pin of the hand grenade in his hand. After a brief pause, a loud explosion resounded with a bang. The audience in the live broadcast room was once again left in bewilderment. Damn, isn't he a psychologist? Why would he carry a grenade with him? A man carrying 3 grenades rushed into the haunted hospital. The terrifying ghosts inside were as gentle as lambs, which scared him to tremble all over. Because as a psychiatrist, he not only used a surgical knife to eliminate the high-level dangerous Gramps Lu. Even the elevator female ghost with an IQ as high as 250 was also played around in circles by him. After the hand grenade exploded, the female ghost in the elevator was left with only a head. This scene deeply stimulated the audience watching the live stream. Could he be a twisted psychiatrist? Why would he carry a hand grenade with him? Master Tao Yang's eyes lit up, instantly piquing his interest. Exciting! The property title is Female Ghost Fixation. He uses this to attract its attention and make it relax its vigilance. After all, most players, when facing an encounter with ghosts, only think about escaping. It was only a matter of time. He already had the desire to include Evan Zhao in the guild as an exception. On the ground, the splattered head, blown up, became increasingly grotesque. Snowlu stared at Evan Zhao with intense hatred. How dare you plot against me? Evan Zhao did not respond. He grabbed the head of the female ghost and lifted it up. He then suddenly threw it far away. Hey, your head is really bouncy, isn't it? He said disdainfully as he clapped his hands. It's just a little sticky. Evan Zhao took out his rusty surgical knife. Female ghost watched the scene. Great fear appeared in her resentful eyes. Please don't kill me. I beg you. The harsh pleas for mercy echoed continuously in the hallway. Be quiet, my knife is quick and it won't hurt. After Evan Zhao finished speaking, he revealed a manic expression. Then he slowly stabbed the surgical knife into the back of the female ghost's head. Shortly after, the female ghost stopped screaming. This YouTuber thought to himself, what a damn pervert, just like me. Ding. The surgical knife was stained with the ghost's blood. Something was awakened. Your soul-bound weapon evolves, granting enhancements to your attributes. Evan Zhao feels relieved all over after getting rid of the female ghost. After amplification, his strength also increased to 5 points. At this moment, the sound of footsteps came from a distance. Evan Zhao slowly got up and turned around. He was faced with a half-decayed old man. There was a creepy smile on his face. However, when he saw the incredibly frightened female ghost head in Evan Zhao's hand, the smile on his face instantly disappeared. Is there anything I can help you with? Evan Zhao politely asked as he stared at him. Hearing this, the old ghost's hair stood on end. Immediately, he turned around and ran away from there. Oh my goodness! This guy is freaking scary. Oh no, he's scaring the ghost. I need to run faster. Seeing the ghost turn and run away in a sorry state, the live broadcast room instantly exploded with excitement. The number of viewers also soared from the initial 101 people to over 60,000. I'm damn impressed. This new player is really fierce. Actually scared away the ghost. Is he sure he's a psychologist and not psychotic? At this moment, Evan Zhao released the female ghost's head. His strength increased from 2 to 5. He clearly felt a significant boost in strength. Feels great. Absolutely crazy. He then went to the lobby on the first floor of the hospital. After finding the map he needed, he continued to explore. Following the map, he arrived at his next destination, the security room. He had just opened the door to the security room when he found several bodies displayed inside. He needed proof to inform the dean of his death. There were monitors in the security room. Perhaps there would also be a printer. The first thing Evan Zhao did after walking into the security room. The first thing he did was to take out his scalpel and cut off the heads of the bodies on the ground one by one. Then he arranged fresh flowers in a row. His actions made many people feel chills down their spines. This person seems to have some mental illness. Tao Yang can understand this behavior though. Because in the new player's dungeon, the power of some individual ghosts is restricted. When severely restricted, they choose to pretend to be dead to ambush players. Even though Evan Zhao's actions are quite abnormal, he has no worries about repercussions. Upon hearing this, everyone thought it made sense. But is this something that a new player who just entered the game can do? He is actually very calm while washing his hands. After completing everything, Evan Zhao started to come to the table. He logged onto the computer, opened a web page, and searched for a while. Finally, he found some old news about the giant elephant hospital. He took screenshots of some key images and printed them all out on paper. After confirming that everything was correct, he was about to turn around and leave. But suddenly he realized something and turned back. Then he took out a surgical knife. He went on to stab each of the ghost heads on the table. The crowd was stunned and bewildered by the scene unfolding before them. After completing all this, Evan Zhao let out a sigh of relief and muttered to himself, "I knew I forgot something just now. You guys wouldn't have survived otherwise." The twisted psychiatrist who came to the haunted hospital was so frightened by the ghosts inside that he was scared out of his wits. Because of this insane man, not only did he kick the head of the female ghost like a ball, but he also didn't spare the already dead corpse. He only stopped after giving them a few more stabs. After Evan Zhao finished all this, he took a deep breath and walked outside. The corridor at this moment is extremely eerie. In the cold, damp environment, there is a pervasive abnormal black mist. Neutral. It will create fear and reduce the player's ghost points. But it has no effect on you at all. Evan Zhao pondered for a moment after seeing the hint. Then he entered haunted fog without hesitation. The black mist coming towards him obscured his vision. He also heard mysterious whispers in his ears. What value do you have being alive? No one in this world loves you. You will die in this game. These whispers are considered spiritual pollution for most people, but Evan Zhao remains unmoved. Because a long time ago, he could hear countless horrifying whispers every day. From the moment he woke up until the moment he fell asleep, there was never peace. Those voices were far more extreme than the whispers in the current passage. Each one carried a great deal of malice. So for Evan Zhao, being here felt as familiar as returning home. He calmly wandered through the fog and soon reached the end of the corridor. At this moment, some faint crying sounds came over. Ding, subquest triggered. Help the weeping ghost fulfill its wish. Evan Zhao glanced at the hint above and immediately became interested. Then he followed the sound to find the source. The scalpel was also held in his hand. He made his way to room 1007. The sound of crying clearly came from inside. He tried turning the doorknob and found that it was not locked from the inside. Outside the live broadcast room, the audience is now also getting nervous. Ah! I dare not breathe. As long as Evan Zhao opens the door, he will die. In just a few seconds, they felt like they had lived through several years. Just when everyone was fully focused on watching. Evan Zhao, however, released the door handle. He retreated cautiously, his gaze falling on the top of the door. Warning: door extremely dangerous. Can be destroyed. Even though the displayed data is very simple, it is enough for him. He immediately took out his own scalpel and, after gesturing a few times, fiercely stabbed into the wooden door. He stabbed again and again, not knowing how many times he had stabbed. He displayed his speed, accuracy, and ruthlessness to the fullest. In an instant, a chilling and piercing scream echoed from behind the wooden door. Witnessing this scene, the people outside the live broadcast room couldn't help but shiver. Damn, is this new player too aggressive? I'm starting to worry about the Dean. Damn, we should be careful when we meet him in the future. I think he's a madman. A twisted psychiatrist barged into the haunted hospital. The ghosts inside were actually frightened by him. Not only did the ghost, who had harmed countless people, fail to hurt him in the slightest, even the extremely dangerous door-opening ghost was instantly beaten to a pulp by him. After dealing with the door-opening ghost, Evan Zhao stopped his hand. Ding! You have killed the door-opening ghost, and your soul-bound weapon has been enhanced. Hearing the prompt, Evan Zhao glanced at his scalpel, only to find no obvious changes. Apparently, the enhancement was very weak. But even a mosquito is still meat. Some enhancement is better than none. Crimson blood continued to seep out from the door crack. The words, "extremely dangerous," on the data have also been eliminated. Evan Zhao then pushed the door open and walked in with peace of mind. At this moment, inside, the weeping ghost was shivering in the corner, having witnessed everything that had just happened. The weeping ghost status, intermediate danger. Evan Zhao slowly approached, holding a scalpel. The terrified weeping ghost immediately started screaming at the sight. Don't kill me. Invisible sound waves instantly rippled out all around. This is Weeping Ghost's proudest attack technique. Ordinary people hearing this would definitely become mentally disordered. However, for Evan Zhao's Spiritual Power 101, it would not have the slightest impact at all. The crowd outside the live streaming room is very curious about his next move. He's walking over. Will he directly kill Weeping Ghost? It is said that Weeping Ghost has other means of attack. Evan Zhao, who came close, squatted down slowly. He reached out to touch the other person's head. Others didn't expect to see such a heartwarming scene. A person who is usually so decisive actually has a tender side. At this moment, a woman shook the red wine glass in her hand and began to analyze. His general direction is correct. Start by intimidating Ghost, and then comforting them. This way, trust can be established with Ghost, which is important for completing the subquest that follows. Damn, even the Crimson Tassel Goddess has arrived. A group of big men heard the sound and quickly gathered around. The Goddess, can you sign your name for me? Goddess, I'll help you get a wine glass. May I ask if the Crimson Tassel Goddess still needs a spare tire? If not, would you mind having one more? Crimson Tassel saw this and furrowed her brows slightly. She uttered a faint word from her mouth. Climb! The Goddess scolded me. I want to save the recording and listen to it 10,000 times when I go back. Crimson Tassel couldn't be bothered to pay attention to them. She continued to watch with interest. Today, the new player in the Skeleton Zone is really interesting. I just came from the live broadcast of another new player, Little Fatty. That guy completed the Hunter's game in just 46 minutes. He broke the record that no one had surpassed in 3 years. This new player named Evan Zhao is quite impressive. Let's take a look at what this subquest is. The Weeping Ghost seems to have calmed down a lot after being touched at this moment. It spoke hesitantly, asking, Aren't you here to kill me? Evan Zhao didn't answer. He continued to lovingly stroke its hair. This made the Weeping Ghost even more convinced that the other party had no malicious intent. So, it relaxed its guard and revealed its own story. I have been here for so long. Finally, someone has come to help me. Initially, when my mother fell seriously ill, this hospital told me that they could save her. However, they required a large amount of medical expenses. Weeping Ghost is still recounting its story. However, it is unaware that Evan Zhao has already grasped the surgical knife in his hand. His body also adjusted its posture accordingly. This posture is more suitable for exerting force. After preparing, he suddenly swung the knife forward to stab. The deranged psychiatrist got trapped in the haunted hospital. The ghosts inside were actually driven wild by him and fled in terror. Because he not only kicked the head of the female ghost like a ball, even the extremely dangerous door-opening ghost was stabbed into a mess by him. Watching the weeping ghost in front of him has now completely relaxed his guard. Evan Zhao's mouth corners started to slightly curve upwards. Good boy. This posture happens to be suitable for exerting force. He suddenly lifted his own arm as he pondered up to this point. In an instant, he sliced through the opponent's neck like cutting through dead branches. Weeping Ghost stood there motionless, unable to believe what had just happened. With a sound, crimson blood splattered everywhere in an instant. Evan Zhao did not stop his actions. He quickly delivered a few more strikes to the head of the weeping ghost until the opponent completely lost breath. Only then did he relax and let out a sigh of relief. The crowd outside the live streaming room was once again shocked by Evan Zhao's actions, shattering their worldview. I'm stunned. Skip the dialogue through physical means. Impressive. But now the crucial information is lost. His sub-quest cannot be completed anymore. Crimson Tassel Goddess analyzed. This guy is completely unpredictable. Evan Zhao doesn't care how others perceive him. Weeping Ghost is extremely dangerous. This means it still possesses some means that pose a significant threat to itself. To ensure safety, it's best to just kill it directly. As for the sub-quest, it is not within his consideration. Upon slaying the Weeping Ghost, the soul-bound weapon gains an enhancement. Evan Zhao immediately began searching the room and obtained the item Weeping Ghost's diary. He flipped through the diary, and the contents emerged. November 12th. Sunny Mom's condition worsened. I am still writing to earn money. I fell asleep while writing due to taking care of Mom at night. Lost perfect attendance this month. I asked the editor for some flexibility. The editor said he couldn't do anything. This weekend I will go out to take on more work again. Hopefully to earn money for Mom's surgery soon. December 12th, I got a job delivering takeout. Although it's a bit hard, there is hope to raise enough money for my mom's surgery. December 17th, it has been raining for more than 10 days. The town is full of water. I slipped while delivering takeout today. Lost today's earnings. February 9th, continuous heavy rain for 3 months. Can't do takeout deliveries anymore. Mother's condition worsened again. What should I do? March 18th, thunderstorm. What happened in the town? How did I suddenly become like this? The streets are so empty. Where did everyone go? Evan Zhao closed the diary. Didn't get any useful information from it. Wait. He suddenly remembered a sentence from the diary. I hope I can raise enough money for my mom's surgery as soon as possible. Mother's surgery. Evan Zhao murmured a few times before turning and leaving the room. The people outside the live broadcast room were puzzled. Why did he go in the other direction again? That way leads to the general ward, not the director's office. What is he doing? Is he exploring the map? Just as everyone was guessing. The senior Tao Yang gave the answer. He is eliminating options. Weeping Ghost mentioned illness and mother multiple times. It is mentioned that sub-quest is related to its mother. So, as long as you find Weeping Ghost's mother, you can continue with sub-quest. The creaking sound came from the damp floor. Evan Zhao stopped as he passed by a ward. Finally found it. The twisted psychologist arrived at the haunted hospital. The ghost inside was actually scared madly and fled at the sight of him. Not only was the extremely dangerous door-opening ghost stabbed to pieces by him, even the innocent-looking weeping ghost was played around by him. After he easily took care of the weeping ghost with one strike. He then arrived at the entrance of a hospital room based on the map. The door was slowly pushed open. Evan Zhao strode in. This hospital room only has one female ghost, and it's obvious that she is the mother of the weeping ghost. Now she has found her target. Next, as long as she interacts with the target, she can extract useful information to continue the sub-quest. As people discussed, Evan Zhao smiled politely and asked, Hello. Are you Shower's mother? Shower is the signature in the diary of the weeping ghost. The female ghost was surrounded by yin energy. She turned her head, revealing a smile tinged with a breath of death, and intermittently spoke a few words. I am Shower's mother. What do you want? Evan Zhao's face lit up with an excited expression upon hearing this. That's great, I finally found you. If I may ask boldly, is your husband or family member currently in the hospital? No, female ghost remained silent for a moment before answering. What exactly do you need me for? As it spoke, its hair began to grow wildly in an eerie manner. The hair seemed to extend towards the door like a ghost, obviously intending to detain the other party. That's good. Evan Zhao felt a lot more relieved after hearing this. This way, I won't have to run around everywhere. It's quite troublesome to run around looking for people. As he spoke, he took out a grenade and threw it directly. Female ghost was stunned on the spot after seeing it. It reacted and wanted to discard it, but it was too late. Evan Zhao waved his hand and quickly walked outside. At the moment he closed the door, a huge fireball erupted. The whole building began to shake uncontrollably. Everyone in the live streaming room looked bewildered. Just now Tao Yang, who had just predicted Evan Zhao's actions, suddenly felt extremely embarrassed. As the smoke slowly dissipated, Evan Zhao pushed open the door and walked in again. The female ghost on the sickbed has been blown to ashes. The surroundings are also in a mess. After seeing this scene, everyone felt a chill down their backs. What's the meaning of this? Shouldn't a normal person try to extract information from the female ghost? Should we continue to complete the subquest? He met her and just handed her a grenade. He even asked if she had any family. Clearly, he was there to wipe out the entire family. Tao Yang once again analyzed Evan Zhao's thoughts. This new player is really scary. His mindset is indeed a bit abnormal. This hospital is so big that the ghosts easily found him. In order to prevent retaliation from the weeping ghost's family, he took the initiative to attack and wipe out the whole family. Is he a psychiatrist or mentally ill? Ah. Finally, I can go to the director's office with peace of mind. Evan Zhao murmured and then turned and walked towards the top of the building. The nearby ghosts all hid, trembling in fear, afraid that Evan Zhao would kick open their doors. After a moment of searching, he arrived outside the director's office. Before entering, he felt a deadly killing aura seeping through the broken glass. Inside, he discovered a body hanging midair swaying. Warning: Director of Giant Elephant Hospital is extremely dangerous. Do not attempt to confront him head-on. Evan Zhao pondered for a while after seeing the data. Then he took out the printed paper. Can't confront him head-on? Then it can only be done this way. The sadistic psychiatrist was trapped in the haunted hospital with Ghost, which frightened him into a cold sweat. After dealing with a series of dangerous evil ghosts, Evan Zhao finally arrived outside the boss director's office. Before entering the room, he already felt a deadly killing aura from the extremely dangerous Giant Elephant Hospital director. Do not attempt to confront him directly. Evan Zhao pondered for a moment after seeing it. Then he took out the previously printed paper from his pocket. Then he took out a pen and circled some of the content with a red box. After he finished all of this, he directly taped it to his face with transparent tape. With a bang, the door was kicked open by him. Evan Zhao just stepped inside. Suddenly, he felt the looming threat of death. The Dean was now growling and turning his head to stare at him. A pair of pale hands instantly grabbed Evan Zhao's neck. He was then lifted high up in the air. This boss's action was too fast. There was simply no chance to resist at all. The Dean's mouth split all the way to his ears. His gaping maw was ready to swallow the opponent whole. And at this moment, it's also inevitable. It saw the paper on Evan Zhao's face. On it, there are several words and images deliberately outlined. On March 6th, the Giant Elephant Hospital was invaded by unknown ominous. All personnel were killed, with no survivors. After seeing these, the director seemed to remember something. The hand gripping Evan Zhao's neck is also rapidly losing strength. I'm dead. I'm dead? Impossible. The Dean muttered, gradually going insane. At this moment, Evan Zhao took out his soul-bound weapon scalpel. With the speed of lightning, he made the fastest slash of his life. He directly stabbed the Dean in the center of his brow. Evan Zhao, who completed all this, awkwardly fell back to the ground. Ding, you have killed the dungeon boss. The soul-bound weapon has been enhanced. The attributes have received a slight increase. After the increase, his strength has also changed from 5 to 8. At this moment, the crowd outside the live stream room all admire him greatly. Wow, so this is how the printed paper is used. Why did he kill the boss so easily? Item: Bloodstained Scalpel. Introduction: Your soul-bound weapon. Because it has absorbed the resentment from the fierce ghost. The surgical knife now has a faint chaos damage. Chaos damage ignores resistance, evasion, and damage reduction. The scalpel will inflict full damage on all units without exception. Is chaos damage some kind of advanced attribute? Evan Zhao quietly remembered this special attribute. He then looked at the Dean, who was still swaying left and right in front of him. He directly pulled out the scalpel from the other's forehead. After getting rid of the Dean, he started searching in the office. Judging from the diary of Weeping Ghost, this town has experienced an invasion of mysterious forces in the past. The Dean is such an important boss. There must be some special information. The bizarre doctor came to the haunted hospital, and was so scared by the ghost inside that he fled madly. Not only did he play the extremely dangerous Weeping Ghost around in circles, even the extremely terrifying principal was poked to the point of disarray by him. After taking care of the boss principal, Evan Zhao started searching in the office. He found the records in the Weeping Ghost diary, sparking some interest in this world for him. Giant Elephant Hospital and the small town have clearly been invaded by some mysterious force. It's hard to say how they ended up like this. From now on, he will no longer enter this dungeon. So now there is a chance. He still wants to explore and understand first. In the drawer, he found an access card and a letter. He took out the access card and placed it in his own pocket. Then he opened the letter and began to read it. The handwriting on the letter was sloppy. The tone also conveyed a sense of urgency. Old Chun, I have contacted the authorities. I have arranged for the guards in the town to be on your side. Suspended Valley Town is no longer safe. Pack up your things sooner, within the next 2 or 3 days. Head to the station on the south side of town. There will be a black truck waiting for you. Don't delay, danger may arise. After reading the letter, Evan Zhao couldn't help but furrow his eyebrows. He neatly folded the letter and placed it back in the drawer. The letter was sent from outside. There was no signature on the letter. The other party clearly knew what had happened in Suspended Valley Town. However, things still caught him off guard. The director named Old Chen eventually died in the hospital. After another fruitless search, Evan Zhao turned around and left the place. He soon arrived at the entrance of the hospital. At this moment, flocks of crows were circling above in the sky. Shadows were roaming everywhere, making it difficult to see the bodies and faces clearly. He cautiously made his way through the shadows and reached the outer fence. Suddenly, a distorted and eerie figure appeared in front of him. The figure stood motionless with its back facing him. At the same time, a set of data appeared before Evan Zhao's eyes. After seeing the data prompt, he broke out in a cold sweat instantly. Name unknown. Extremely dangerous. Do not let him out of your sight. Otherwise, terrible things will happen. Both the data in front of you and your body's instinct tell you. This thing. Not something your current self can combat. Is there still a hidden boss? Evan Zhao cautiously took out his scalpel. He carefully moved his hands and feet, afraid of disturbing the other party. He stared firmly at the twisted figure, not daring to relax for a moment. After circling around the figure, he successfully swiped the access card. With a drip sound, the rusty iron door emitted a piercing friction sound, like a machine that hadn't been operated for centuries. Evan Zhao slowly backed away from the figure and stood outside the iron gate. The thick fog outside obscured everything from view. Obviously, this novice dungeon did not want to reveal more information. After gently closing the iron gate, Evan Zhao gradually retreated into the fog. Ding! Dungeon cleared successfully. Now beginning teleportation. With the sound of the prompt, he finally breathed a sigh of relief. Immediately after, the thick fog completely obscured Evan Zhao's body, and he disappeared into the fog as well. After Evan Zhao left, the twisted figure finally showed some movement. His body, originally puppet-like, suddenly picked up its head and coldly stared in the direction where Evan Zhao had disappeared. The twisted man then arrived at the haunted hospital. The ghosts inside were so frightened by him that they frantically fled. After going through a series of events and dealing with the dean, he finally completed the dungeon and was teleported out. Congratulations to player Evan Zhao. The main quest escape from the giant elephant hospital is completed. Side quest Gramps Lou's last wish completed. Subquest Weeping Ghost's wish failed. Plot exploration rate 88. Worldview exploration rate 6 receives a score of S+. Rewards obtained: 25 XP, item obtained, Gramps Lou's property title obtained, Ghosts fear him. As the prompt sounds kept coming one after another, the crowd outside the live broadcast room instantly became restless. No one expected a new player to achieve an S+ score at the giant elephant hospital in Inferno difficulty. Evan Zhao's face remained calm as usual. After receiving the reward, his level also reached level 2. And he obtained property title from Gramps Lou. At this point, he returned to the safe zone, known as Eternal Night Camp. It is not a real geographical location in the traditional sense. It is a virtual platform. Here, people can watch players' live streams, trade items with each other, and communicate about dungeon experiences, challenges, and strategies. Evan Zhao just opened his profile, and two options popped up on the screen. 1. Please select the guild you would like to join. 2. Do you want to create a guild on your own? He is not in a hurry to make a decision. He wants to understand the basic situation first before deciding. His friend's application for prompts is already full. Many people inside have noble golden names. The players next to him suddenly took a cold breath when they saw this. I'm going. Dude, what kind of god are you? So many top guilds are inviting you to join. After seeing Evan Zhao's bewildered look, he started to explain. It's really unprecedented for those top guilds to invite a new player like you. It's almost unheard of. People can have access to various abundant resources as long as they join a large guild. People can also use these resources to quickly complete major world quests. It also greatly improves people's survival rate in this game. Evan Zhao shook his hand after listening, indicating that he was temporarily not interested in these. He then opened the shopping mall and started observing. There were many items on it, not only various ghost-subduing artifacts. There are also mysterious potions to enhance oneself. Each item has the required points for purchase marked below it. The way to obtain points is by defeating dungeons. Evan Zhao then opened the leaderboard. There are 5 in total. They are new player, guild, leveling up, wealthiest, and renowned. Currently, he is ranked first on the new player leaderboard thanks to his S+ rating. He also took a look at other leaderboards. After he understood the general situation, Evan Zhao then queried the guild. After entering the game, players will be unable to return to their original world. Players are instead assigned to a new corner of the chaotic world. It is dangerous, barren, and desolate there. Players must deal with various dangers, stock up on resources, and head towards the center of the world. The best way for players to survive is to join a guild and act together with your teammates. After reading it, he carefully consulted the current world map that had already been explored. He found that the location of the Slackers Guild was closest to a familiar area, the small town mentioned in the letter from the dean of the Giant Elephant Hospital in Suspended Valley Town. Evan Zhao's interest was piqued at the sight of this. After the bizarre world arrived, the man won the first place on the new player list out of millions of people. But to the admiration of the public, he actually rejected the invitation from the top guild. He instead chose a trashy guild full of losers. Shortly after Evan Zhao clicked apply, the other party replied, "We are a trash guild. We don't have many resources." Evan Zhao's mouth curved into a faint smile after reading it. He himself doesn't really care about these things. He is just very interested in Suspended Valley Town. At the same time, in a remote corner of the world map, inside a dilapidated apartment building, a woman with a graceful posture is staring at the information in front of her. It's really interesting. This year's new player list top actually determined to join our guild. As the words fell, a middle-aged man in a Taoist robe walked over. Blessings from the infinite celestial lord. This guy, hasn't he received invitations from several top-tier guilds? This year's new players are just too incompetent. They can't impress those old ghosts at all. The woman lazily lifted her hair and spoke. What do you think of a new player who achieved an S+ rating in a dungeon with a difficulty level like the Giant Elephant Hospital? A hint of surprise flashed in the eyes of the old Taoist upon hearing this. Why did he choose our guild then? The woman went on to recount Evan Zhao's response. He said he is very interested in Suspended Valley Town. Uncle Chain, please give some advice. Upon hearing this, the middle-aged man called Uncle Chain closed the book in his hands. Suspended Valley Town seems to be related to our world quest. You guys never do world quests every day. You guys only know how to fight. It's been so long, and the guild is still in this mess. New players are almost gone. The woman chuckled after hearing that. Aren't we learning from you? As the leader, if you set a bad example, others will follow suit. Don't shift the blame onto us. Uncle Chain felt a bit embarrassed upon hearing that. Let him in. It's rare to have a new player interested in joining our guild. Remember, absolutely do not bully the new player. The woman licked her lips, and a glint appeared in her eyes as she responded. Okay. When the system prompt popped up, everyone was confused. They couldn't understand Evan Zhao's choice. Why did he have to go to such a trashy guild instead of anywhere else with a good hand? It's a pity for this guy. I heard that the big brothers of the previous big guilds are very appreciative of him. I didn't expect him to act like this. At this moment, in the abandoned city of the chaotic streets, inside a luxurious building, Tao Yang is carefully examining Evan Zhao's information. It's really unusual for a new player like him to join a guild filled with all amateurs. Just as he was pondering, a woman dressed in professional attire knocked on the door and walked in. She is the vice president. Someone has dug up information about Evan Zhao's previous world. The data has been uploaded to Eternal Night Camp. Here is the original file for your review. Tao Yang quickly browsed through the information. Then he asked in confusion, "Is he very famous in the industry?" The woman replied, "Yes, he has cured nearly 1,000 patients with severe mental illnesses. And these patients are completely cured. There are no residual effects. Whether the person has depression or violent tendencies, severe psychological distortions, as long as they go through his hands, they always recover. However, strangely enough, the patients who were healed by him all forgot the process of treatment. Any records related to the treatment mysteriously disappeared. So within the industry, no one generally calls him by his real name. Instead, they have given him a special nickname, Angel of Oblivion." After the bizarre world arrives, the man fought his way to the top of the new player list among millions of people. But he, who had attracted the attention of millions, declined an invitation from a top guild. Instead, he chose a garbage guild full of amateurs. The guild full of amateurs is located in a remote corner of the world map. It is also the poorest, coldest, and most dangerous place. Evan Zhao just arrived here and saw a sexy beauty standing at the door. Is this the territory of Slackers Guild? Evan Zhao curiously asked.